Today on One Always There. Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary. Today on One, PDM meets struggling doctors. Irongo governor displays optimism despite a spike in COVID-19 cases. MTC injects multi-million-dollar sponsorship into sports, arts and culture. And Kudu Gas project timeline dependent on production solution.
The Popular Democratic Movement PDM met with the first cohort of veterinary graduates from the University of Namibia UNAM that are requesting the government to give them employment. The PDM has promised to bring their situation to the attention of the relevant stakeholders.
The University of Namibia and government through the Ministry of Agriculture found a need to establish this school. So they must fulfill that need. Because if they can't absorb us, then the whole 6-year program went to waste and they didn't fulfill that need. And then the second thing is the profession itself requires us to be doing something and to be paying money in order to maintain your registration. So you can't do that if you are not employed.
The group leader, Dr. Martin Katumbi, said that they have approached the Prime Minister and the former Finance Minister to assist them, but those avenues were not fruitful. Katumbi added that their only hope is with government, as the private sector did not even consider employing the group.
We initiated this process of engaging government last year by first consulting the Prime Minister. We wrote an email to the Prime Minister, and then she referred us to the Minister of Agriculture, the former Honorable Hafiz Marusek. So we then managed to convene a meeting with him and the Permanent Secretary and also the Chief Veterinary Officer, Dr. Shilongo. And our meeting concluded that they are going to restructure the structure of DVS, so they create more positions so they can absorb us. So that was done then by Dr. Shilongo, the Chief Vet, and it was also approved by Cabinet. But then as now leadership changed and Honorable Hafiz Marusek left, these individuals started relaxing, or let me not say relaxing, they just ignored this method to the extent that now they don't have answers to our question. So we then tried emailing the current minister, Honorable Carles Freitwein, but then he doesn't show interest in the above subject. He didn't reply.
The PDM President McHenry Vanani said that he does not understand why government has overlooked this profession, as the country consists of so many farms.
The argument that says we don't need veterinarians. If you go to the whole of Kunene, Umsati, Ohangwena, Ochodonjupa, the rural areas where I come from, those areas do not have a vet. A vet would be stationed in Okakarara. Okamatabadi would not have a vet. Ochitua doesn't have a vet. Okanjato has not, just one constituency. If you go to Ovidia, if you go to any constituency in this country, there is a need for a veterinarian. So there is no truth in it to say that we can't absorb these people into the market. We need veterinarians. In fact, it would be very good if every constituency or every 2 constituencies can be serviced by 1 veterinarian. But the very reason why we cannot employ you now is the fact that we are underfunding agriculture. We are not spending the necessary resources where it is needed most for us to be food secure, to have food sustainability and food security.
PDM Member of Parliament Ina Hangari said that the COVID-19 has exposed the weakness in the country's administration and the lack of coordination in tertiary institutions.
It has exposed the weaknesses in the current administration. And what I mean by that is one of the biggest challenges, particularly in the tertiary institutions, is that there is a lack of implementation and a lack of coordination between the programs that we provide, the service provisions and the programs that we provide in the institutions, and the employment, right, in the market, in the job market, in the real world. And one of the things that we as a government, as an alternative government, are proposing is the need for apprenticeship programs, where you go through your 6 years of your program, but during that period you're also gaining some sort of experience while on the job, because that way you wouldn't have young people graduate into unemployment without experience on the streets of Kapena Ilonga, like the president said earlier on. And that is what we're really trying to address. So the COVID pandemic has really exposed so many weaknesses in the current administration, and I'm glad that young people are finally standing up.
The PDM president promised the graduates that his party will address these issues in the August House.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medivax for Dettol.
The governor of the Erongo region, Neville Andre Itope, remains optimistic about level 3 of the lockdown despite an increase in COVID-19 cases. Walfish Bay reported 7 new positive COVID-19 cases, 5 are contacts of confirmed cases, 6 showed symptoms during specimen collection, and 5 were identified during an active case search. All cases, according to Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula, are in satisfactory conditions.
So far we have tested samples of 9,118 and we have 831 active contacts. So far we have quarantined a total of 3,838 people, of which 2,963 have now been discharged from our quarantine facility, and we are remaining with a total number of 875 people throughout the country.
Some businesses in the Erongo region began operating as the district transitioned to level 3 of the lockdown. All of this despite a surge in reported COVID-19 cases. Governor in the Erongo region says it will all be fine as long as residents stick to the COVID-19 regulations.
We need to look at different aspects of the impact by the COVID-19. So that is exactly what we are doing. We have the security cluster, we have the pillars of the health case management, we have the pillars of quarantine, we have the pillars of infectious response. So with that monitoring of all those pillars that sort of focus towards our general response to COVID-19, we'll be able to see how ready we are to then move to a other stage.
The rest of the country transitioned to level 4 of the lockdown, which will see a deliberate and cautious easing of current lockdown regulations. During this phase, schools will be operating and parents can voluntarily send their children to schools. Here's what some concerned mothers and guardians have to say.
We're not ready to move to stage 4 because with this number of people that are increasing, it's not safe, and kids are more exposed to the COVID-19 because they stay with their parents and their parents are also staying with other people, so it's easily for them to get the virus.
Personally, I think it's not really that much of a good idea. They still have to look into that and maybe come with something better. I thought the e-learning would have done the trick, but we're all not advanced to computers and all that, but something should they should think of something else to do.
Prevention is better than cure, so it's always best that the kids stay home this academical year. Promote the kids next year semester-wise. For instance, the kids can do this year's work next year for the semester, and then the second semester they proceed to the academic year.
There are over 200 confirmed cases nationwide, close to 180 active cases, 24 recoveries and 0 deaths. Health Minister Shangula urges residents to familiarize themselves with the new regulations that will be administered during Level 4.
We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV, it just gets better.
Namibia's leading mobile telecommunications company MTC announced their biggest sponsorship to the sporting world when it announced a 3-year multi-million-dollar sponsorship towards sports, arts and culture. MTC announced the 13 beneficiaries will benefit from this sponsorship, with the company's Chief Human Capital and Corporate Affairs Officer Tim Mekanjo demanding for professionalism from the beneficiaries.
That we selected these beneficiaries based on the value that they provide. We do not go into sponsorships just to give others a chance or an opportunity. You need to deserve the opportunity by providing us with a professional, value-driven proposal that reflects you as a sustainable and sound brand, that we have never and still do not demand a certain level of performance expectation with any of our beneficiaries that we get involved with, simply because we understand the lack of infrastructure and resources compared to other countries. But we do, however, demand a sound level of professionalism that is acceptable.
The Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service, Agnes Jongarero, addressed the infighting between leaders in the different sporting fraternities as she advised them to take players' interest first.
The Namibia Sport Commission is the regulator of sport in Namibia to ensure that the recipients are held liable for these funds. Funds must be utilized for the intended purposes. To recipients, ensure that you deliver on the agreement. Read the agreement. Take your brand and that of your sponsor with all seriousness and honor it by all means. I make emphasis on the need to have effective corporate governance principles and structures in place. Take cognizance that all the times the needs of the player must come first. Keep your disagreements as leaders in the boardrooms. Most importantly, allow and assist the players to become the best they can be.
The Namibia Football Association's NFA Cup also received an annual 4.5 million Namibia boost. NFA President Ranga Haikali received the sponsorship and has announced that discussions to when football will be held in 2 weeks' time.
We will have a executive committee meeting of the NFA slated for the 16th and the 17th of July. On the 18th of July, we'll have an extraordinary Congress slated for the 18th year in Windhoek, and that will hopefully be putting a lot of these politics to bed. This money is money put to good use. It will be compensated with the announcement of when football will start in Namibia, and that will be on the 18th of July, to make sure that this sponsorship that will be effective from 1st of October will also culminate with all other football events, being the starting of the leagues, to make sure that not only the players but the teams and all other stakeholders are ready to give that value for money in terms of attendance to football.
All the sponsorships will be effective for a period of 3 years from the 1st of October 2020 to the 1st of October 2023.
Let's talk about the coronavirus outbreak here in Africa. How do you get people to regularly wash their hands when water is scarce? How do you get people to work from home when majority of Africans work in the informal sector?
People are dying and suffering.
More importantly, how do you get a vibrant and dynamic continent to stop in its tracks? Welcome to The Breakdown, BBC Africa's COVID-19 special program, helping you make sense of the crisis.
BW Kudu, developer of the Namibia Kudu gas field, says a production solution will be the deciding factor for the timeline of the gas project. Klaus Anderson, general manager of BW Kudu, noted that developers have yet to choose a production solution which will then take a period of 3 years to implement.
So in Kudu, one has gone through different phases. There have been different plans. First for compressed natural gas, and then electricity, and so on. And the energy market has also changed over the years, but we are still aiming to produce electricity from Kudu. And the timeline will depend entirely on which production solution we are choosing. We have detailed plans for one solution, and that would take 3 years to implement from the day we decide to go for that solution. But depending on whether we are going for that one or others, that will be the final timeline. One of the other solutions is actually quicker, but maybe not better.
Additionally, Anderson adds that the project is too big for the current Namibian market, so developers are looking into producing electricity for neighboring countries.
So we are therefore looking at Kudu in a regional perspective. That means some electricity for Namibia, some for South Africa, and maybe for other also countries in the region. What is typical in the energy business these days is that one is moving away from coal and diesel. Basically, all electricity that we import to Namibia is based on coal generation in South Africa. And that is environmentally not very good. So the move all over the world is a new energy mix with solar power and wind power and natural gas. And we are going to be part of that process for Namibia and for the sub-region.
The project, which is managed by both NamPower and NAMCO, is projected to be the country's biggest power plant upon completion.
From Cape to Cairo, Accra to Antananarivo, there are millions of people just like you trying to make a living to make money. And there's no magic way to get rich quick, unless you're Aliko Dangote. You're not Aliko Dangote, are you? No? Well, perhaps we can help you get a little further along the way. With BBC reporters all over Africa, we find the stories, the successes, and the startups that will help you make the most of your money. This is Smart Money.
In other leading stories, Old Mutual Namibia has delivered food parcels to the value of 120,000 Namibia dollars that will benefit 200 households in the Otjozondjupa region. The handover took place at the Otjozondjupa Regional Office in Otjiwarongo, marking Old Mutual's support to the 6th region in the country as part of its COVID-19 food outreach. In March this year, Old Mutual made a commitment of 5 million Namibia dollars towards COVID-19 prevention efforts, of which 1 million Namibia dollars was set aside for food supplies to benefit affected, vulnerable individuals and communities across all 14 regions in the country. The Office of the Regional Governor for Otjozondjupa, in conjunction with the Otjozondjupa Regional Council, have identified individuals in all 7 constituencies of the region that are in dire need of basic food items to benefit from this donation. This brings the total value of Old Mutual's food outreach nationally to over 700,000 Namibia dollars, supporting over 1,508 individuals in all 6 regions thus far.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. The Anti-Corruption Commission has expressed its disappointment at the budget allocated to it by the Ministry of Finance, adding that the underfunding of the National Anti-Graft Body will affect the institution's efforts and capacity to carry out all investigations, forcing it to prioritize high-profile cases. Pele said that this was done on purpose. Aaron said that they should simply use the resources at their disposal to unearth beneficiaries of the Fish Road case. Martha said they should recover all the funds lost to corruption first. Sam said this is the time to focus solely on COVID and on nothing else. Chaldon said as long as government decides who leads the ICC, the commission is bound to fail. The Ministry of Health and Social Services acquired another batch of COVID-19 medical equipment from Old Mutual Namibia and the Turkish Embassy in Windhoek, all intended to aid in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Mido asked why Namibia is receiving donations such as face masks that are made locally. Hollywood said people need food and not masks. Matthias said donations made such as masks never reach the people. Kefa said, let us fight against COVID-19. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Welcome to Sport Africa. The BBC's new weekly show will explore the big sporting issues and questions, like why Africans aren't winning medals in the pool.
I just think it's their mindset.
Meeting established and rising stars.
I could be the Nigerian first Grand Slam winner.
And at the heart of it will be you, the fans, with your passion, your opinions, your stories, and even tests of your sporting knowledge. Go beyond the game with BBC Sport Africa.
Last year, critics and audiences fell in love with The Big C.
So what next?
I, for one, am prepared to be wowed.
Oh, you be wowed. I'll be drunk. My name is Kathy, and I will see you now.
It is not okay for you to kiss my wife.
I don't want to feel better. I want to be better.
A look at the weather forecast to the Namibia interior: partly cloudy and mild to warm in the south, elsewhere sunny and mild to warm. Windy weather will prevail in the interior at places. The coast sunny and warm to hot, and the wind moderate to fresh northeasterly to southeasterly. Now a look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We took it all away with the help of a lot of friends, lot of fans. We took it all away with a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters.
Yes, I know we took it all away with a lot of mics, a lot of studio sessions. Took it all away with a lot of shows and misunderstanding, yeah. Osekona tangwa tushe Exita na mushe
Hawatuchitameke paipoti mocha zinare Narobia chipanga no matigo kona karare Ndamatimbo yanje tumbo Nuko katike pito wanapo Ndamatimbo yanje tumbo Kenda sonjalo hape jokoloto Hawatuchitameke paipoti mocha zinare Adulu mbiskiti neshizo mumatare Ya mwamime ina mtimbo anje Ya mkesha emera nula isambo No matimbo kodo Oncharambo Ndatimbo mukadili moningo Vistori na tereka sofaya Mepenya simvuko tulimonawa Sota karika tunigirima yetu mebra Minding our business Maitinga kwetu andera Ukwani mu makumba kageturangeka Nukangaro takatifu chasi na tukiva mebra Demanding our business.
Now we stop to turn up the tune for the fans. Dirty don't stop. Send a motion that don't go mask-up. Inspiration, the generation.
Exit motion, give us some more. Oh, why you sound so low? Exit motion, give us some.
Now on BBC World News, the biggest African and international